Hello and welcome back to another radio roundup from the Sunday podcast, brought to you guys by sportshoes.com. Loads to talk about today. Obviously, London Marathon coming up this weekend. So we're going to review Boston. We're going to chat London. Matt's going to blind rank some London Marathon winners. And we're going to tell you about a little podcast we've got coming up with Mr. Mohammed as well.
Mate, I mean, it was good to catch up with Momo just to see what he's been up to. Obviously, he's run 61 in his build, 61 minutes for a half in his build, but he's been out in Ethiopia. Great insights there, training with probably the best marathon coach in the world, Gimadou. And in that group, he hasn't officially started training with that group, but has jumped in with them on multiple occasions. So he breaks that down. So well worth a listen. What's he going to run on the weekend is the question on all our.
I don't think he'll run as quick as they did in Boston, mate. We should better start there because John Career 201, that was some crazy running.
Yeah, I watched it and he's just so content, just chilling in the pack. I mean, it's Kipton-esque and the marathon is, I think, has drastically changed in how the big dogs are executing these marathons. They're realizing that to win, to podium, you need to throw down an absolutely silly surge. And I wonder if they're training in that way. It's less about, the Kipchoge era of, these perfect pacing and the whole breaking two. It really highlighted how important it was to pace right. And, Kipchoge would just grind the field down. No one could live with that pace. Whereas now we're seeing...
It's almost cross-country-esque.
It's cross-country-esque, it is. Yeah. These splits that they throw down. It's outrageous behaviour. I mean, on the women's side, Sharon Lekadi's 19th mile was 4:41. It's unbelievable. Yeah. And Career up Heartbreak Hill, he was 4:42. Yeah, I think he ran a 28. I mean, 60 flat for the last half is outrageous. 28 minute 10K out. But Lekadi ran 14:48 in the women's race. 14:48 for a 5K split between 35 and 40K. And so you kind of saw a similar story. The women were a lot slower early on. Less people were willing to push the pace, but a similar story. And, I just think
I think it's where the depths just increase now. And there's so many people capable of running, say, 2:2 on the men's side. And then on the women's side, 2:18, 2:19. And it just means you have to do something a bit more special, if you like, to break up the field rather than just being like, well, I'm 2-3 minutes faster than the rest. So I'm going to grind him down that way,
I think that's it. They're not willing to leave it to a sprint finish or anything like that, and they just want to break the field,
which is smart, right? Because no one's got time to train for sprint finishes in a marathon block, right?
No, but I look at the type of runner you have to be now to feature in these races, and I wonder. And Hicks obviously had an amazing performance, and you related that Boston Marathon to cross country, and especially with the hills, it is similar. And look at the way Hicks ran. He was able to cope with that surge the best out of everyone, and he's comes from a huge cross-country background. Very, very successful cross-country background. So, no, it is changing, and I wonder if we'll see the same in London with this big surge. Obviously, it's a flatter, faster course where there are paces, and that's the exciting thing about Boston. There isn't any paces, but, we saw these moves with Kelvin Kiptum, a few years ago. This is the kind of stuff he would do. This 30 to 40K, absolutely hammering. But we're starting to see it more and more now. It's almost every, Chicago is different. Obviously, Career bombed in that one. That went off extremely fast. But
yeah, and it's something we've seen in the half marathon quite a bit over the years. And I think, athletes are just getting to the point where they're strong enough to be able to do it in the marathon as well.
Yeah, they're not fearing the distance anymore. No, there's not this, this whole 30K business. I mean, they're getting to 30K fresh legged and they're off. They're not getting to 30K on the limit. They are off at 30K. That's when they flick a switch. It's when the race starts. I just compare it to a track 5K. This is like them getting to 4K, and it's positioning. Last K, bang. Yeah. Very similar. So it was an amazing race. There were some amazing results. We talk about Hicks doing 2:04. What a shame he didn't. He switched allegiance back to the US and is a US citizen now. He becomes the second fastest US. The guy ahead of him, also a new US citizen, and he runs 2:03. Rising times. Klecker runs 2:05. Clayton Young runs 2:05. I mean, look, 13 men broke 2:06. In Boston's 129-year history, only 11 did it. Had broken 2:06. And now we're seeing 13 doing in one race. So it was definitely a freak year. That tailwind. It's funny. He was talking to weather specialists at Meteor Pace, And yeah, he was saying that wind just neutralized the hills completely because they just have that constant tailwind for 26 miles, and it's just blowing them the whole way. So it was a very, very, and because the men got after it early on, they were still started off at about 2-3 pace. They were getting a big lift, even despite the hills. So you could almost compare this to just this was a flat course. So, which is still amazing. If this was a Chicago or a Valencia, you probably would have seen similar results. The weather conditions, the
I mean, if we see results like that this weekend in London, I think we'll think, we'll
be blown away.
Yeah,
we'll be blown away. Yeah, blown away. But what's it not having those paces? I mean, I always, I give credit to a lot of the Americans. Like they do go with it. Like it's 2:03 pace early on, and I know Boston is downhill, quite largely downhill in a tailwind, but they're all there. There's a massive pack of 25 men. And the same on the women's race. They went off a bit slower, so maybe you'd expect it, but still huge packs. And because the way London is designed, we'll never see that.
Yeah, I almost think there's like too many little groups and people are trying to be too smart about which group they go in and that sort of thing. And it just gets a bit, there's a few times, you think, what if they just got on it in the next group?
I mean,
people like Yi or Emil in the past,
Yeah. It takes the race element out. You're like, well, it's going to be very, very difficult to win this race if you set off with one of those slower groups, isn't it? But it's also going to be difficult if you set off with the front group. But even the fact that they have like group A, B, C, D, whatever, is like, is it a race? You're getting, you've got your own paces and you're in group 4, for God's sake. I get it though. I get it. But I do love how Boston, everyone is just 25, 30 men and women together pretty much to halfway. It's not always the case, but it was yesterday. And that's certainly going to give a lot of that's how people like Klecker and that have gone around 205, running 210 in New York, runs 205 now. I mean, conditions definitely played a part. Who knows what that's worth?
Yeah, it can't take it away from them though.
It's a largely downhill course, despite the hills. It is net downhill, massive tailwind. So we'll see what all of these do. But I think John Career probably is. We'll see this weekend. But he is pretty much the best marathoner in the world, especially in that scenario.
Yeah, should we talk through who's coming up this weekend in London?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I mean...
Let's talk about Noah Meal first. I guess that's the...
Noah Meal is sad. Yeah, that is sad, I think, is that hasn't finished a marathon since Paris 2024. Yeah, since the Olympics, which is a shame. And where will we see him next? I don't know if he'd be able to get selected, but we could see Emil go for the Euros. I don't know what...
Does he have a track time from last year?
Yeah, with the selection policy...
If you wanted to go like for the 10K?
Allow that. I'm suggesting the marathon.
Yeah.
I'm possibly suggesting the marathon. I'm possibly suggesting winning the European marathon on home turf. Is that his next move? Because obviously maybe we'll see him get a late entry into Copenhagen in a couple of weeks. But there's no major marathons for him now. And so he's going to have
to delay things a little bit more.
He's going to have to wait till the autumn.
Yeah, but that might be better, right? If he's got a little issue.
Depends how bad this injury is. Yeah, this calf injury he has. I mean, the way he phrased it was he's just missed a bit of training. But yeah, what a team that would be. Imagine we had like Sesma, Mohammed and Emil as our top 3 at the Euros. I mean, they could all go 1, 2, 3.
I think you're getting ahead of yourself now, mate. Let's see how some of these get on Sunday, mate.
Yeah, you do always forget that it's like, Cripper's running 205 winning Paris. Like, what could he do in it? What could he do in a race like Boston or London? There's so many really, really solid Europeans, and Amanal Petros is obviously the German racing this weekend. But hey, mate, so big shame for Emil. For me now, he needs to, I don't know where his mindset is. For a while, I do think after Paris, the mindset is like, let's pop a big one. It's almost like he needs to get a successful building. He needs to get a building where he can get on the start line and just race again.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he needs to run.
I think we saw this with Hawkins. I don't like to make the comparison. But Hawkins was very similar. Just had a couple of amazing championship marathons, but then failed to pull everything together and get to a start line healthy for a long time after that.
Yeah, but it's hard, right? Like, I mean, yeah, you at the time we're like, Emil's like just missed out, but actually that is such an optimistic way of looking at it, rather than thinking that was just a bloody amazing run, and that could be the peak of someone's career. And I hope it's not. But if it is, that's an amazing career. Do you know what I mean? Still, like for a Brit to be fourth, right? And I think, I think sometimes we're always just like assuming that you're going to be able to go one better. And I think it's often wishful thinking rather than predictive thinking.
Like Jager. 8 flat falling over, never goes quicker. Yeah. Well, there's the storyline. In the women's race, look, there's a few scratches in the women's race as well. Abby Donnelly's out. Lucy Reed's out. Charlotte Purdue's out. Bit of a shame. So now we've got Jess Warner-Judd, McColgan, Rose Harvey. And the biggest shame is actually those women were probably going to work together. There was going to be, instead of probably now being all on their own, running 220, 222, 224 in different little groups, they probably would have been able to work together as a group of 4 or 5. But that's not going to happen anymore, which is a real shame. So I think it's going to be a very, very tough day for the elite British women.
I just think London in general is savage for the British women. Every year.
Yeah, it is. Look, when you look at the sharp end of the field, there's going to be 6 or 7 trying to run 215, 214, 215. You know, that usual sort.
And you think of where you could go, right, to run with sub elite men to get like.
No, I think you even, but Boston do it. Boston do it really, really well. Look at that race in Boston yesterday. If you're an elite British woman, you're thinking, God, like 30 women through halfway. And of course, Lukidi does something special, absolutely blows the field apart. You know, a lot of Americans running 220, 221. More like 221 to 224, but there was just huge depth there. I think they just accommodate. There's obviously in America, there's much more women in that sort of 222 to 225 range anyway. So naturally more depth, but pretty much any other marathon in the world, you're going, yeah, there's good depth at 220. Whereas I can see Eilish having to run this whole thing on her own again.
Yeah, for sure. British men, obviously Mohammed, like you mentioned, Sessman's in there. Paddy Diva, I think a lot of people are excited to see how he does.
Yeah.
Jake Smith's going as well, running well at the moment. Mark Scott, again, another one that we like tipping.
I think Mark Scott's a scratch.
Is he?
Emil's a scratch. Mark Scott's a scratch, yeah.
Scott's a scratch. Jack Rowe.
Yeah.
Is in there. Yeah, that's pretty much it for you.
Alfie Manthorpe debut. Bit of love for him in the DMs, mate. A lot of people are saying Manthorpe's going 208 on his debut in the DMs. So
why not? I mean,
who are we picking? I mean, for me, you've got Mohammed, Paddy Diva, and Phil Sessman. I've seen a few snippets of Sessman saying like he wants to be really competitive in this race. I think he realizes that this is a big opportunity just to go with it. You know, he's run 2 207s back to back, where I think even his own words, sort of quite cautious, very dialed in on the pace, never wanted to just overexert. Still amazing times. But I think he's like, okay, what can I do if I just get involved in this race? And, you know, just, it's funny, like Sharon Lakidi forgets her watch on race day. Whereas I think she borrowed someone else's watch, but, you know, wasn't even aware of what they're running, what she was doing. I think Sessman needs to go into this one, but just, similar mindset. Sounds like that's what he's thinking as well. And there's going to be a group. I presume, you know, with Emil out, I imagine he was the one who was going to dictate those pace groups, and he was the one who was going to say, I want this at halfway. Whereas I wonder who that's going to fall to now in that what I can only presume is going to be the second group. What will they be after, or possibly the third group? What will they be after? One can imagine they're going to try shoot for sub 206. I think this is going to be a 63 a halfway job.
Yeah, and it's how many Brits want that, you know. So I think Mohammed, Sessman, Diva.
Yeah, I think that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, I really do. I think when you look at how many Brits want it, how many Brits can actually go with that, I think that's it, to be honest with you. Now look, Peter Lynch is doing it, who also broke, I think he's doing it, he's on the elite start list, but I haven't been following him, but I know he broke 60 with Paddy in the same training group in New York in the half. Like, he could probably be featuring in that group as well. There's a Japanese athlete who's run 206, but then after that you have got Kamwara and Al Petros, who got second, obviously the world champs, to Simba, who just ran 202. I think Petros is in absolutely amazing shape as well. You've got Tola, you've got Kipruto, you've got Kiplimo, Sawe. The rest of the elite,
it's going to be Group 2, mate.
I think it will be Group 2. Yeah, I
think
you
jump from Chet to Guy.
Yeah,
to Mohammed.
Yeah, you do actually.
Yeah.
Christ,
so,
yeah.
Like with one athlete in between. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be Group 2, but what the shame is, a lot of men around the 2.829 mark, and whether they've got enough confidence in their ability to go with that 63 group. And
or are they better off running 207 pace through halfway in a big pack
and just hammering it home? Like, personally, I would want to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, Kikuchi
Paddy is very, very aggressive.
One, and in which case you think that Mohammed and Sessman get to pick the pace for Group 2, right?
Problem is, Group 1 will I think they're going to be 60-30.
Yeah,
60-30 to 60-45. They're going to go for 201. They're going to go for course record, and then if something special happens, world records on the line. The conditions look like people could go very, very fast.
Yeah.
Was it 14 degrees at like 11 o'clock? So more like 12 degrees, 12-ish degrees. The sun is up, which will beat down on them, but absolutely no wind. Is it 6 k an hour or 6 miles an hour?
Yeah,
one of
those tube strikes though. So these lads will be all right.
So yeah, I'm going. I think Paddy's going to feature. I think he's going to really squeeze the pace. It's going to be interesting because he is at some point just going to have to measure his effort. Unfortunately for those guys, I'm not sure they're going to be involved in the race that they want to be involved in. It'd be amazing if we had 3 or 4 Brits to about 35k. I can only predict things will break up before then, actually, because when there's only 3 or 4 of you in a group, it's mentally very, very difficult. You can't switch off. You're kind of keying off one another quite a bit as well, and you're probably going to be vulnerable to surges and pace changes. So, yeah, I think, but my top 3 are just going to be, I'm going to go Paddy, Momo, Sessman.
Wow. Well, I was going to complete opposite order.
Well, you think Sessman's going to come out on top on the weekend?
Yeah, I do.
He is training really, really well, but that's because we see it. And
yeah,
it's fascinating speaking to Mohammed, what he's been up to. I think he's been training really hard for this one. I think this is the best build he's had in a good while.
Yeah.
And he's been there, he's gone and run 2070 in London before.
I predict Alex Yee to just not stop when he's pacing and beat all of them.
Look, if Alex Yee, and I wonder if Emil regrets this a little bit, not just drilling the last 5k when he paced Alex Yee. If he could have drilled the last 5k, because that's a marathon on the board. That's a low 2.6. That's a PB for him. Had he have done that? And I wonder if he pulls out at 30k, it's fair enough. But if you start going beyond 30k, for me, you basically run a marathon anyway. Like the recovery after is going to be basically the same. And this is why I wonder if Emil has regrets that one, he didn't finish it, or 2, why did he go so far? 30k, yep, okay, good marathon long run stimulus, but then sort of back off, and I guess it was still 4 months ago, so it wouldn't have affected his training block that much. But I feel like the recovery time after is, what did he run? 4k or something? 35k? Or?
Well, if you think when you actually race a marathon, Kipchoge takes a month off, right?
Yeah,
I'm not saying they all do, but if you run 35k, you should probably be taking a couple of weeks off.
Yeah. And so I wonder if, I can only imagine Yi is going to be quite strict. He's not going to drag those guys beyond 30k.
Yeah, he seems like that, but then at the same time, I also think he loves it.
Yeah, he does love it. Yeah, he'll be in London. Oh, yeah. Atmosphere's amazing.
Yeah.
Feeding off those guys.
With him, right? He's an Olympic champ, so what's he got to lose?
He's got nothing to lose. And there is an element of, actually, if he's got 3 Brits behind him that he's dragging to 206, 205, that's pretty special.
Yeah. And then when he kicks them down as well, then it's even more special, right?
But the one thing is, Emil, when he paced Yi, I was definitely training. He was in marathon mode, and I don't know if Yi is in the same marathon place he was in Valencia. I imagine his training's changed quite a lot. I imagine he's doing a bit more tri work, etc.
Yeah.
So,
mate, one person we haven't really spoken about, Jack Rowe. Obviously,
yeah.
As someone we've kind of expected big things from, half marathons consistently been one of the best Brits. How quick does he go on Sunday?
I think he has to try to win
the next race.
Yeah, he has to try and just beat all the Brits and then maybe pick up a few scraps off that group. I mean, it's half marathon. If you've run 60 flat, for me, you should be able to go 2.6. But there is I think with Jack, there's a part of the last couple haven't gone great. And so I think there is a world where it's just like...
It's number 3 now?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So I think there's a world where he just wants to get this one right. I think, he just wants to... I think break 210's a little bit safe. I think he's going to be more like, can he run 2.8? Can he go 2.8? I think that's where Jack Rowe's going to be. Like, can I box off 2.8? And then if I'm having a good day, I know I can kick down for 2.7, something like that, close out well. Maybe I'm catching people, gaining momentum. Some of the big dogs have popped, and you're reeling in a couple Brits who have gone off a little quicker, maybe. So I think that's the way Rowe's going to approach this one. But again, he's in a sticky position because a lot of guys in that group, when you think about Jake Smith, when you think about George James, Tuade Menges, Wendy Gebrselassie, the 2.950 runners, 2.10 runners, are they going to be willing to go 64? Probably, but. Yeah, he too is probably going to be a little bit stuck. There's going to be some decisions that need to be made out on the course, and he's going to need to drill. Look, interestingly, Mohammed does all his long runs alone, and yeah, he reckons it's made him very, very mentally strong. I can totally see it. It's not a conscious decision to do his long runs alone, but I think lack of training partners, etc. He has done them alone, and I think that's why Eilish managed to survive London last year. She does a lot alone as well. Whereas if you're used to being in big groups in training, getting carried, it is, to be fair to Sessman, I know he has Hendo there on a bike, but he does a lot solo as well on these bigger long run efforts.
It's hard for people based in the UK though, right? To find people that can do that. It's different when you're
saying that's going to put them in good stead though.
Like, what's that?
That's going to stand them in good stead though. The fact they have done solo efforts.
But it is difficult for them to find people that are of the level to do a long run with them.
Yeah. It's a headache for a lot of these men and women. I think London, it's it's a race where it's like you've got quite a heavy choice to make straight away, and if you don't make it, how could that impact the way the race plays out? Whereas like most like Valencia and stuff, you don't have to think. You just get to the start line and, okay, I'm going to set off at the pace that I've been training out. I'm confident I can hold, and that's it. And you're going to have company. Which is sort of have these quite hard decisions of, oh God, if I don't go 63, I'm going to be in the next group. They're going 64. Is that too slow? Blah blah blah. Like,
yeah, I guess with that though, they've probably decided that tomorrow and the next day, knowing the groups, because they'll know before we do.
Yeah, they know the groups now,
and they are just going into it thinking, well, that's my group and this is the pace,
Yeah, they know. Yeah.
So by the time Sunday rolls around, I think they're absolutely fine. Look, mate, on a women's side, McColgan, we had an interesting listener view on McColgan, I believe.
Yeah, I reckon she won't break 220 because, a few people saying won't break 220 just purely for the fact that she'll be on her own looking at that start list. But, a lot of the, that same listener did say she could go 218, 217 in Chicago if she gets in a race like that. And that's a fair assessment. That's a fair assessment. I think when you run on your own, you've got to, Eilish might be on her own, but she's got to run with the hope that some of those girls who go off fast are going to come back to her, and she's going to have people to gun down that last 10, 15K. And if she makes sure she's got enough left, if she runs in a way that she's getting quicker that last 10, 15K, then I think that's what's going to allow her to look up the road, maybe catch a few, and just stay positive throughout that race as well.
I mean, there will be some people coming back.
Well, they don't tend to come back. They tend to just drop out.
Yeah, true. Well, it was like, we see it so many times where athletes think they're in like 15th.
Yeah.
Across the line, and they're like, oh, yeah, you're third.
Yeah.
I've not passed anyone.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, a few other British women in there as well. I'm just trying to see if anyone's not running, but I believe they're all in. Jess Judd's still in.
Yeah, just one of Judd's still in. Yeah. Abby Donnelly's not, unfortunately. Rose Harvey's still in as well. I think, I'm intrigued to see what Rose Harvey can do. Having run a couple of 72-minute half marathons, for me, I don't know if that's quick enough, for us to expect her to, it's 2:24 pace, and that was in Lisbon half. It's hardly a slow half, is it? And it was hardly, sort of 6 months ago. So I think for someone like Harvey, like she'll be shooting for 225, 226. I don't know the athlete, but that seems like, off of the results that we've seen from her, that seems like it would be a pretty solid marker that she can build on from.
Yeah, and I think Jess Judd's one that, probably slept on a bit in the marathon, and I think actually had real potential to to be right there with Eilish, yeah.
Wow. I think I just haven't seen enough from Judd in the half to suggest that she can move with Eilish. I mean, look, Eilish has run 67. She's run 30 flat for 10K. Judd's an incredible athlete. I do think she probably gets overlooked. You're right. And she always pulls out gutsy performance. I hope we see a PB from her. I hope we see that gets, a 222, 223. But again, looking at, who's in and around her, well, on paper, it's Rose Harvey and Eilish McColgan. And everyone else ahead of her is Kenyan and Ethiopian. Yes, they've got lifetime best of 221, 220, but does that mean they'll go off
the road? Yeah.
They'll be up the road, won't they? Yeah. So, Sephora and Obiri, though, is a jewel for the ages, really.
Oh, yeah, it's nice to see Obiri in London, isn't it? Obviously, a few Boston crowds to her name, and it'd be nice to see her on the streets of London. Yeah, Jep Koskai's in there as well, so, yeah, real battle at the front.
Oh, yeah, and, I mean, we saw a 210 in Barcelona, didn't we? What are we going to see here? I think they're going to play it a little safer. I would like them to play it safer, and let's just see a race over that last 20K, over that last 15K, 10K, like we saw in Boston. But, there's a world where Obiri and Asefa are going, actually, we want halfway to be 66. We want to put it's just such a difference, isn't it? Like, Eilish is an insane runner. 30 minutes for 10K.
But that's what I mean. Like
67 half. Like, I wonder if Eilish is kind of thing. Look, the European record got broken again on the weekend, 29.50, Clara Lucan of Slovenia. And I wonder if Eilish is like, the way she still moves over 10K, is there a part of her that goes, I could probably still be breaking, if I was focused on the 10K, I could still be breaking European records. I could snatch that back. I could go run 29 something for 10K.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess...
the marathon for Eilish hasn't quite... I know she's got a big one in there, but...
We say that, but I think for me, one of Eilish's biggest strengths has been recognizing that she couldn't train as much as other people in terms of running because it made her injured, and then creating a ridiculous cross-training program and running program that suited her ability and how much she could do in a week, but also maximize performance. You take that, though, to a race, and yes, you can still train with cross-training, but ultimately in a marathon, you have to run 26.2 miles on the road in one go in 2 hours on one day, and that's just asking for injury.
Yeah, and that's...
So you're just going to break down so much in the actual race itself, unless you kind of get a bit fluky, I feel like.
Yeah, she might go... I think there's a high chance she does operate around 220 this weekend, a very, very high chance, and it'd be amazing to see her break it. But yeah, there is a part of me was like, you could still be really, she could be dominant over, okay, you've got Batacletti, but for example, at the European Champs this summer, it's like, she'd go get a medal in the 10K if she was training specifically for it. I don't think at the moment, but
then her really good 10K, that best one was when she ran it in Holland with the Ethiopians.
Yeah, mate, she ran 30 flat.
Yeah, but that was on the way to the original debut, wasn't it?
Yeah.
She was marathon training.
I do
she
feel
did that, then Berlin half, and then pulled out of London.
Yeah, I don't know if it was after a London build or it was on the track, that one, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was in the London build though.
No, I think that was the year prior.
Right.
You might be right. And then she did a very similar approach. Double check it, man. Yeah, I do remember her doing the Ethiopian trials in Hengelo.
And that's that's probably her best run she's ever had.
Yeah. Look, a few of the listeners saying sub 2 is possible, especially given the weather
sub
out there.
Sub 2.
Kajelcha is slept on, 202 low for Kajelcha. And yeah, funny enough, that is something Mohammed said. He said Kajelcha and Tola, the way they train, they hammer, they race every day. No run is easy. Long runs, they're just drilling. It's hilly, the terrain they run on, 2,600 meters of altitude. Some fascinating insights from Mohammed. Do go and listen to that episode after this one. But I do like the look of Kajelcha. He's run a blistering half. He's probably too much of a racer. He's going to be too eager to throw something silly down. He loves to do that on the track. He just gets bored and starts drilling some 59s. And I worry that we're going to see a Kajelcha throw some moves down at 25K, 20K and surge away. And then a bit like Mengesha got found out yesterday in the Boston Marathon. We see him get reeled in by the likes of Kip Limo and Sarway, who are just a little bit more patient, a little bit more experienced.
Sorry, mate. I'm just I'm trying to fact check
checking
that McColgan, mate. Do you know what? We need to do an episode on bloody para 10 because
I don't use para 10. I mean, yeah.
I tried to find our World Athletics and
it'll be on there, man.
Yeah.
It'll be on there. Yeah, so I think that's for me, two guys who are underrated from a British standpoint as well, Tuwaldi Megas and Wayne Gebrselassie. George James, we haven't even mentioned yet. I don't know if he is pulled out or if he is going to race. He's going to be on the start line. Remember him, 2:10 last year, hasn't done anything since those European road running champs. Again, that's from me trying to scout para 10 and World Athletics. Maybe he's done a low-key race that hasn't appeared somewhere, but yeah. Is he going to go pop a big one? He was the story last year, wasn't he? Really, it was like, who's this guy running on treadmills on a cruise ship, and now he's running 2:10. So, what's he been like now? He is pretty sure he's a professional with Adidas. Jake Smith, are we going to see him break 2:10? That would be a hell of a story if he did. We've mentioned Jack Rowe, and then obviously there's some really, really high end club runners as well. Like you've got Andrew Fife, Alex Milne, Peatley Grice. You've got a whole bunch of men. I've probably missed a few as well who are 2:12, 2:13 runners, 2:14 runners, and if they get it right, can they pop a big one? But they too are going to have to work together. I think from a British standpoint, these men, these women are going to have to stick together for as long as possible and help one another if they're going to run fast. If they just want to beat each other, obviously that doesn't need to happen.
Yeah.
There you go, mate. You want to, yeah. And I hope you all enjoyed Boston. Scan through those results. Absolutely sickening. I mentioned last week that it's going to be interesting for me how the Puma lot did. And, Alex Meyer, supposedly in really, really good shape in Craig's group, trains with Paddy, trains with Rowe and stuff. He was leading for a large part. He seemed not leading. He was in sort of this small breakaway. They must have had 5 seconds on the big chase pack. He was pushing on, but I don't even know if he finished. I didn't see him after about 25k. So yeah, not a great day for them. Pat Tiernan was 2:09 on a day where everyone's flying. Maybe that would be okay, but everyone seems to be absolutely running 3-4 minute PBs. So to run 2:09 on a day like that, not great. So is that a small indication of how Paddy and Rowe go? I hope not.
Well, I don't think we can take too much because I'm pretty sure last year they ran well, and then obviously you'd probably say that Rowe kind of underperformed. So yeah, could be the opposite way this time,
Yeah, fingers crossed, mate.
Mate, I've got some London Marathon winners for you to blind rank.
Come on in.
Yeah, I mean, firstly, how's your stretching been going, mate? Though, I think people want to know how you've improved your score on Go What.
Do you know what? I have been working on a posterior chain, mate. 8 minutes a day. That's what they recommend. So that's what I've been doing. And
Did you do it first thing? Have you done it today?
I don't do it first thing, mate. My posterior chain takes a while to function.
Yeah.
Pretty stiff.
I
in
might
the
start
mornings.
doing it in the office, actually. That's a good...
That's exactly when they say you should do it. Yeah, take a desk break, mate. Take a desk break.
Take a desk break. I mean, I have got a sit-to-stand desk, but I actually don't use it.
Oh,
I should.
They look like a waste of time, a waste of money. But no, I have been... What I rate about GoWard, actually, you can plug in what equipment you have available to you. So, if you've got nothing, it will accommodate that. If you've got foam rollers...
Yeah. And what's cool is you put it all in at the start, like everything you've got in your home gym, if you like, or just in your house, because it's not really gym equipment. But then each time you do a session, it says, do you have these available to you today?
Yes.
Which is pretty cool. Obviously, if you're traveling, you don't have anything. If you've left your foam roller at the track, whatever, it kind of adjusts for you.
It does the thinking for you. And I think that's actually, underrated, because sometimes when you've got to stretch, you've got to be mobile and loosen off, you kind of think, you start on your hamstrings and it's like, what next? And your mind just kind of goes blank. And, just to have someone just build that routine there for you on the spot, target the areas that you want to target, stay in line with kind of what your goals are, where your weaknesses are, and constantly be testing you. It's a very, very handy tool. And I know a lot of the pros are. Often I look at, professionals, and one of the biggest differences, yes, they're training extremely hard, but they're also recovering harder than everyone else. They're doing those things. They are extremely flexible. They're loose. They're taking care of their body, and often that's the difference, and that just allows them to absorb training better than anyone else, and that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, so shout out GoWatt for the premium membership. So thanks very much to those guys. Yeah, I mean, let's get into these London blind rankings, mate.
Coming in.
So I got 10 for you.
Yep.
Men and women.
These past winners, yeah.
What's that?
Past
winners. Yeah, past winners of London. Men and women in the same list. Yeah. So your first pick, Steve Jones.
Oh, well, he has been on the podcast, so I've got maybe I'll put him in just outside the top 5.
Sixth
place.
Locked in at 6. Kiptum.
Number 1. Easily, mate. I think also I was lucky enough to interview Kiptum after that day. I've never been around such a character. He was just so happy. He was so genuine. He was willing to talk to anyone. There was none of this like, I felt good and pushed. He was actually he was surprisingly very, very open. And it was at a time when really, I know he'd run Valencia prior to that, hadn't he? But it was a time where a few people were like, we know Kiptum's good, but how good? And then just bang. And wasn't there loads of like sponsorship controversy as well? He was supposed to sign with a brand. I can't remember which one. And it was pretty much over the line and they gave him the shoes for London. And then he just pops on some Nikes in a Nike vest. And it was like, fuck. And so I think he was, messing around with multiple offers on the table. But and the performances we saw from him, the way he would throw it down that last
in such a short space of time as well.
Oh, mate, he lit the marathon world alight, and he's got to be number 1. And I know there's so many good winners, but number 1 for me.
Liz McColgan.
We'll just go number 5. Good, steady number 5, mate. Feels harsh putting people further down in front.
Yeah, but they're all London Marathon winners, right? So
they know they're good. They don't need my rating to.
No. Mary Keitany.
Yeah, a lot of time for Mary Keitany. We'll go. We'll go 7 though.
Personal favorite of yours, Vivian Chariot.
Yeah, do rate. Okay, maybe we'll pop her just ahead of Liz McColgan in 4. Multiple
another
dubs.
Podcast guest.
Great on the track.
Mike Grattan.
Mike Grattan. Was he the first London?
First Brit.
First Brit. 9. Great guess, that one though.
Yeah.
As early days, man. That must have been like 5 years ago we spoke to him.
I don't actually think it was that long ago,
Was it not?
No, not as long as you'd think. Kipchoge?
Yeah, Kipchoge, we've got to go 2, right? How many times did he win it? 4? 3? 4 times maybe?
It might be controversial, but Wilson Kipsang.
Oh, I did love the Kipsang. Kipsang,
those Addy Zero boosts,
mate. The Kipsang and Kimetto era, mate. The Kipsang Kimetto era. It was gold. What have I got left? I think I've done.
So you've got 3, 4.
I'll stick to my values. Kipsang's 10. Dopa 10.
Yeah, nice.
Although I did enjoy the era. Him and Kimetto. Yeah.
So you've just got 3 and 4 left. Paula.
Easy. Oh yeah, 3 for Paula then. Yeah.
And Sifan Hassan. Oh no, it's not 4 left, sorry. What is left? 8 left.
Yeah, I probably got to put Hassan 4, so that means someone good's going to go 8.
No, it's Hassan 8. Sorry.
Oh, Hassan 8, sorry, was it?
Yeah, that was all that was left. So there you go, mate. We gone Kipton 1, Kipchoge 2, Paula 3, Vivian Chariot 4, Liz McColgan 5, Steve Jones 6, Mary Keitany 7, Hassan 8, Mike Grattan 9, and Kipsang 10.
I don't think anyone will argue with that. What would you change there?
I guess it depends on how you rate them, right?
I don't think anyone would change that. You've got the world record holder number 1, former world record holder number 2, the first man to break 2 hours, swept up London's. Like they're undisputed. I don't think you would ever change them. Yeah. What I have, Paula 3. Yeah, that makes sense. Top 3 are locked in. Kipsang at the back because he was a doper. You got some of the oldies who were just before our time. We don't have that.
It's your ranking, mate. It's your ranking. Yeah, you can't argue. Mate, I had good fun just coming up with some rankings after last week's one. That we'll save them for future weeks, mate. So
I think one of my favourite Londons, which is a bit controversial, is the one they did in COVID, the lap course, which Kipchoge had a bad ear, couldn't hack the rain, and it was like Cisse Lemma and who is the massive tall bloke, and it was just a massive Kipchumba, big old sprint finish. Oh, it was, yeah, really. That was a good London, that one. Just lapping them out there. So, mate, I did want to look London Marathon preview in the books, but there are some results that it's worth talking about. Mentioned the European record has gone in the Loreto 10K on the weekend. Clara Lucan 29:50, but also Rory Leonard 27:56. So a good strong run from him, and actually was third in that 10K. But it's more looking at some of those NCAA results. I mean, we are at 3:31, Simeon Birnbaum, Oregon. I mean, 53 last lap. This is a Jerry Schumacher masterclass. You know, we're living in a world where, and it's just other NCAA results that I've seen as well. Steeplers went 8:08 from Louisville the other day. We know the 5K is, Hampton Samuel flew in the 5K. And we always debate this, but could we be living in a world where actually the NCAA for me has probably the best coaches in the world. There's a couple coaches who are fully professional coaches. I think you look at Trevor and Jenny at M11. You look at Mike Smith, who used to be in the NCAA.
It's because it's a viable full-time job.
Survival full-time. I look at if you're an amazing coach, why would you ever leave the NCAA? Like the money you're getting paid, and actually probably how fun it is. You know, is there an argument that being an NCAA coach is way more fun than being a professional coach?
We have a proper season.
You have a season. You have
so nice. Like you get to do cross country, indoor and outdoor every single year. There's team stuff on the line.
Yep.
And if you do well, right, you've probably taken a couple girls to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Every other games anyway.
Yeah. It's, like you say, it's centered around championship racing, not time trials. The facilities are unbelievable. I look at...
The only downside is you have to live in the US, right? That's
it's... and it's no wonder it's no wonder Jerry Schumacher went back into college coaching. Obviously, he had a huge offer on the table from Oregon, but, we're starting to see the work that he's doing. And, Simeon Birnbaum that 3:31 looked absolutely unbelievable. He's telling his mate who's pacing him, the reports say he was just telling him to go faster, pretty much the whole way. And I wonder how long it will be before we see a 3:29 in the NCAA. I wonder how long it will be before we just basically see some of the world's fastest times. They already are coming out of the NCAA, but, where we see NCAA stars really go to the championship. What's difficult is the peak. If the NCAA decided they were going to have their championship in August, that could make things very, very interesting.
Yeah, I don't think that's the goal of it, though, is it?
No, it's not the goal of it, and it never will be.
Yeah.
And that's kind of another reason why.
It's almost like how, I guess, in basketball, March Madness is just as followed as the NBA in the States, right? From my understanding, anyway. Not that I know loads about basketball, but I think it's big enough that it's its own thing, and if athletes want to then go pro midway through their college career, that's fine. But if not, especially with nil deals, you can sign something that's basically saying, well, I'm going to get a contract as soon as I finish, and then you can just enjoy the ride, right? 4 years of racing at a brilliant level. I
think my argument was basically, which I didn't do a very good job at putting across, but we shouldn't be surprised when these runners in the NCAA run so quick. Jane Hendegren as well, running, running, 14 highs in the 5. We shouldn't be surprised at that. They've got better facilities than probably any pro bar 5.
Even a lot of the pros, they'll go on camps and they'll go and train at a uni.
They'll go base themselves you go to Utah, go base yourself at BYU. NAU, exactly. You've got access to all of those facilities, all of the medical treatment. You're feeling a bit tired one day, or you feel like a niggle's on the horizon, up in the Ultra G. Every uni has one of those. Just got everything at their disposal. So there's a point now where it's just not surprising that we're seeing such great performances. They are in the best setup and they have the best coaches, pretty much. So good racing nonetheless. Right.
Yeah.
Let's look ahead to London. Enjoy. Listen to the Momo podcast, and quick one from you, Lum. Who wins the men's race? Who wins the women's race?
I'm going to back O'Beary.
I'm going to back Asefa then. I do think Asefa's she knows London well. Beery's a great racer. That half marathon she ran in New York was very, very good, but I just think Asefa, if you've gone down to that 2:11, that's a special place.
Yeah, and then I'm going to go Tamarat Tola.
Really?
Yeah.
Bro.
They're not going to run that quick. they're not going to run as quick as people think, and Tola wins. I got a bit of a soft spot for that guy.
Yeah, he's a legend. I think it's going to be a 201.10 for the win.
If it's quick, it will be Salway or Limo, but yeah,
it's got to be 201.10 for the win. And I think we could see Kajelcha. I'm going to go Kajelcha. I want Kajelcha to win.
It's bold. I love Kajelcha as well, but I don't think he'll win it.
2 Ethiopians, mate. I've gone for an Ethiopian sweep. Sefa, I better go see what the odds are.
Yeah, there you go. Right, thanks for listening to us. Mohammed episode will be out tomorrow. So Wednesday, so listen to that too. And we'll catch you guys very, very soon.